Now, if you were to ask me, you know, back in my early teenage weeb self days, whether anime is better dubbed or subbed, I probably would have just fucking bitch slapped you in the face just for asking that question. Nah, seriously though, I was like just a die-hard fucking subtitle guy. Like, so much so that I even fucking watched Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. The fucking anime everybody tells you to watch dubbed. I was like, nope, fuck that. You know, I hate dubs that much, and I watched the subtitle. Like, that's how fucking crazy I was. You know what I mean, guys? Nowadays, however, every time I'm presented with the option for an anime, whether I want to watch it dubbed or subbed, I will always go for dubs. Well, most of the time. There's some exceptions. I'll get to that later. But yeah, you know, I got several reasons for this, really. The first reason is that I just love that fucking cheesy, cartoony vibe that dubs give out, you know. Granted, this is only the case for 90s, 80s, and like early 2000s anime, and some maybe, because, you know, nowadays they try and be more true to the original voice acting. Still though, you know, old school dubs still hold like a special place for me. You know, especially the 90s ones, like You're Under Arrest and Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? They remind me of a time when I was a kid and shit and just watching cartoons. I don't know, yeah, I feel like it's that just cheery vibe they give off, you know, with some one-liners here and there. Like, I don't know, you know, that shit just does it for me. Now, the exception I was talking about, though, is 80s anime. Now, 80s anime is usually a hit or miss with the dub because, you know, it was different times. You know, people weren't really that interested in dub. I mean, in anime in general here in the West. So, you know, the dubs didn't really have that much money behind them. So they were usually shit, you know what I mean? Like, there are some good ones, don't get me wrong, you know. And of course, there's always the so bad that they're good type ones. But overall, you know, I usually am very cautious with 80s dubs for sure. My next reason has more to with just growing up in general, you know. I find myself having less and less time to watch anime as I grow older. Like, college could be a bitch at times. And like, when I'm at my busiest, I only have time to watch like a few episodes at night, you know. And watching subtitles at night is just a fucking pain, you know. Like, it literally just puts me to sleep, bro. Like, I watch one episode just fine, and by the second episode, I'm just like, you know, and it doesn't help that at that hour, I'm usually token up, you know what I mean? So it just, that shit just enhances my sleepiness. This is a big reason why I have yet to finish Legend of the Galactic Heroes, you know, because that type of anime, that's fucking just dialogue heavy, you know, like maybe some action stuff subtitled I could maybe watch at night, but when it's very, very dialogue heavy, like Legend of the Galactic Heroes, watching that shit at night is just, you know, it just puts me to sleep. Like, it's a great anime, don't get me wrong, but, you know, just reading, I guess, it's just the act of reading that just like, I'm just like, oh shit, you know, it hits the sleepiness hits. Now though, as I said, this is only during my busiest, you know, like, sometimes classes are just on the low, you know what I mean? They're not, there's not much to do and shit, or, you know, I got like break or whatever for some reason, or, you know, just like this semester right now, so a lot of my classes I couldn't take because they only offer them in spring. So, you know, I got some free time on my hands, but I'd still would choose dub over subbed if I'm watching anime like right now. Mainly because, like, I love to have an anime or anything really just in the background while I'm doing shit. You know what I mean? I want an anime that I could have that option with, you know? Because I mean, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm doing shit like cleaning or editing these videos, you know, making scripts for these videos, like, I just love to have something on in the background that I'm paying half attention to. And subtitled anime just does not allow you to do that, you know what I mean? Like, I guess it does. I know some people watch subtitled anime in the background, but But I mean, you're not really paying any attention to it, you know, unless you know Japanese. But I don't know Japanese, you know what I mean? That's just like, it's just noise in the background. Like, if I want that, might as well just put music on. Now this next point is probably gonna sound like fucking thousands of other comments you've read around the internet defending dubs. But it's true, you know, so I'm still gonna say it. I prefer to focus on the artwork rather than the subtitles. And like, look, right, I understand that you could watch subtitles and still focus on the artwork to an extent. Like, if you get good enough at reading subtitles, you know, you end up at a point where you just like read fucking super fast and get to look up before the character even finishes speaking, you know what I mean? But that shit takes practice, you know. It took me a while to get to that point. But even then, you know, even if you have that shit nailed down, it still doesn't compare to just straight up not having to look down at all, you know what I mean? Just always looking straight at what's going on the screen. Like, look, right, I've talked about how much I like traditional animation on this channel, right? How it's the shit, how it's great or whatever. And, like, I'd rather watch every single second of something fucking beautiful like Akira, you know what I mean? With just decent enough voice acting for me not to be taken out of the experience, rather than missing out on like a portion of the movie just to have some better acting that I'm not even gonna understand. And speaking of that, you know, that's where I do agree with the subtitled fans, you know. Yeah, you know, fucking Japanese voice acting is way better, you know what I mean? Anime is a huge ass market over there in Japan, you know, so it attracts good talent, you know what I mean? Because there's no other thing voice actors could really do over there. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure there is, like, kids shows or whatever. But, you know, anime is the main thing, you know? It's a big-ass industry, so it attracts huge talent. Here, you know, anime isn't that big of a market. Like, sure, it's becoming more popular or whatever, but it's not, like, huge, you know what I mean? Like, the fucking great talent is going to cartoons, like, you know, Disney movies or fucking Pixar movies, you know, that's where the fucking quality voice actors are going here. They're not going to anime, you know what I mean? Anime just manages to, like, come up with, like, decent voice actors, you know, and I'm not, like, dissing them or anything, you know what I mean? They do a decent job at what they do, but they're not, like, fucking A+ actors, you know what I mean? Like, that's reserved for bigger projects. And, you know, since I'm speaking of the downsides of anime, might as well speak on rewrites to the original source material to make it appeal to a bigger audience, you know? Nowadays, that shit's mainly only, like, line by line, like, something like Neon Genesis, you know, Netflix dubbed that shit recently, and they changed quite a bit of lines in the show, but the overall story, you know, the overall message was still pretty much the same, you know. It's not like back in the days where they used to fucking change entire, like, plot points and just censor the fuck out of it, you know what I mean? Despite all these problems, though, I will usually still choose dubs. Like the Neon Genesis dub, for example. I thought it was pretty decent. I did miss the old one to a certain extent, you know, but it wasn't like fucking, I just couldn't watch it at all, you know, like some people. Now, you know, I do draw a line somewhere, you know what I mean? And that's, if you're changing the plot in a significant way, you know what I mean? Like fucking mashing 3 animes together and shit, or just like censoring the fuck out of it, you know what I mean? Where to the point where it starts losing is like authenticity, that's where I'm hesitant to watch it, you know what I mean? Like fucking Robotech, I did not even touch that fucking anime with like a 10-foot pole, you know what I mean? I was like, no, I'm watching fucking Macross, you know what I mean? I still have to watch those other 3 anime. I'm not sure how good they are. But, you know, I heard good shit about Macross, so I went with Macross. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, ultimately, why I'm watching anime is for the interesting plot, you know what I mean? It's for the interesting way they fucking combined story elements, you know what I mean? And if you're fucking with that, then what's the point, you know? Like, there's no point of me watching it. And that goes for the visuals as well, you know? If you're censoring shit out, like no, you know, count me out of it. I'm here for a fucking authentic visual and fucking plot experience, you know? To finish off, I understand why people like subs, you know? I understand why, there's that, well, I mean, that meme's kind of dying out slowly, you know what I mean? But, like, that, you know, that just fucking cult of people that tell you to watch subtitles no matter what, you know what I mean? I understand them. I was part of them, you know? But, you know, you gotta admit, dubs get a bad cred for no reason, you know? Like, there's a lot of positive aspects to dubs that people just overlook because they are stuck, you know, narrow-minded in that subs are the way to go no matter what. You know. Again, you know, this is just my opinion. This is, like, why I watch dubs, you know. That's why it's called that. But, you know, I'd encourage you guys to start watching more dubs, you know. That's what happened to me. Yeah, I introduced some friends to anime, and of course I wouldn't introduce them to subtitles at first, you know. I just watched dub anime with them. And that's how I watched, you know, dubbed Cowboy Bebop, dubbed Samurai Champloo. And I started finding out that, well, dubs are pretty decent. Dubs are worth your time. Well, thanks for watching my first actual rant. If you liked the video, you already know what to do. Go into your fucking drawer, you know, look for the best fucking anime Blu-ray you got, and just ship it out to me, you know what I'm saying? Also, you know, like and subscribe and hit the bell icon or whatever, you know. Seriously though, guys, thanks for watching again, and see you later. Well, more like you guys will see me later. Last year, I did a video on Tatami Galaxy and the big picture idea of the whole show. However, this show had so much other ideas packed into its short